Hello everyone, my name's Cabin. Probably know me from my last short film. Had the itch to create, and so I've decided to go through my film collection because I have a lot and I want to talk about some films, talk about why I own them, what they mean to me. And so yeah, without further ado, sorry about some sound that's coming from the outside. I have a very rambunctious cat that needs attention all the time, needs stimulus all the time, so all of her robotic toys are going off right now. We're going to start from the top, go all the way down. I'll have a lot to say about certain movies, I'll have a little bit to say about certain movies. There's movies I haven't even watched yet. So, yeah, without further ado, we're going to start with 25th Hour, which is my favorite Spike Lee movie. I got this from my local Savers. And yeah, it's just incredible. It's my favorite Spike Lee movie. I went on a huge Spike Lee binge last year. And this is my favorite Edward Norton. Barry Pepper is unbelievable in this. Rosario Dawson's incredible in this. She Had This and She's in My Lap by Outkast in the same year. It's unbelievable. It's a great film. I know The Big Picture put it in their top 3, 25 of 25. I saw it before then, but yeah, really awesome movie. 28 years later, this was gifted to me by some friends, Katie and Louise, shout out to them. I really like this movie. Cillian Murphy's great. I wouldn't say it's my favorite out of all the 28 movies. I think 28 Years Later is probably my favorite, but this is a close second. Great performance. Judging by my last short film, you probably already know that I'm obsessed with kind of digital camera filmography and cinematography. There's a lot of movies on over here that are kind of based in that reality. But yeah, great zombie movie. They don't make them like they used to, even though they're making sequels. The Absent of Milk in the Annals of the Lost. So this is a no-budget film by Casey Sparrows, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is released through Vinegar Syndrome, so counter for Vinegar Syndrome, our first boutique. And a crazy movie, very kind of, I know this is a kind of a dumbed down term to say, but it's very Lynchian, very weird, very strange. I remember when I reviewed this movie because I bought it as like a bundle to save with free shipping. I don't know, it just enticed me. The filmmaker himself liked me on Letterboxd, and not only that, but when he was reaching out about people getting their hands on his new film or working on his new film, I reached out. He responded once, didn't respond, doesn't matter. I think it's just cool that I got a response from him. And it's a really cool movie. I would search this out. I would buy it on Blu-ray. Don't illegally stream it. Purchase this movie to support him. Our next film is The Addiction. There's a lot of Abel Ferrara in this. Probably one of my favorite directors. This movie is unfucking believable. The black and white cinematography, Christopher Walken, Lily Taylor, I can't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's in The Sopranos and she's in another movie on this wall, Annabelle Scarrero. I'm so sorry, but incredible fucking movie, incredible commentary track on this because Abel's hilarious. In my top 3 Abels, I think this movie is haunting. I think it's awesome how it correlates vampirism to addiction. There's just a lot to like, and this Blu-ray especially is gorgeous. Highly recommend getting this. After Hours. This is a Martin Scorsese movie. In my top 3 favorite Martin Scorsese movie. It's so funny because I have some friends who did not like this movie. They didn't like it at all. And I thought it was absolutely unbelievable. First time I watched it was in Montana with one of my coworkers. And it's just an incredible movie. It's funny. It's kind of surreal. It's scary. It kind of taps into a lot of anxieties that, you know, are easy to relate to. And I think it's kind of in that darker period of Scorsese when he was trying to get Last Temptation of Christ made. More on that later. But I really enjoy this. It's a 5-star masterpiece. It's so funny. It's so cool. and you should seek it out if you haven't watched it. So these next two movies I'm going to grab together. I'm just screwing up the alphabetical, but I know where I'm at. Alien. I know this is just a DVD, but you know, I just picked it up at a Savers just to own it. 5-star masterpiece, probably one of my favorite Ridley Scott movies. And then Alien Covenant, which is my second favorite Alien movie. I know, aliens. People love aliens, but I think Covenant is really fucking sick. I think Covenant is, I love the gore, I love the story, I love the chest burster through the spine. I think David in this movie is unbelievable. Shout out Michael Fassbender. I really love this movie, and there's a quote that I have in one of my Letterboxd reviews that David says, like, the loneliness of the infinity of my mind or something. There's a quote that he says that really is just like fucking cinema. So yeah, we're just gonna start placing these all around the place because I think this one's next. Yes, Anatomy of a Fall. One of my favorite scripts of the last few years, my top 3 of this year when it was released. I saw this as a double feature with another movie that's on here that we'll get to that. Kind of a strange double feature. But yeah, Sandra Huller's unbelievable. The script is unbelievable. That whole scene that people love to quote and post about you're complaining about a life that you chose. Your generosity conceals something dirtier and meaner. Just absolute awesome. I love films where people yell at each other, so that's on my list. Apocalypse Now. This is a really cool version that I got in, I believe, Arkansas when I was on vacation. It's a complete dossier. It includes both the theatrical cut and the director's cut. I've never seen the director's cut, and I've only seen like half of Heart of Darkness, the documentary about it. But this might be my favorite Francis Ford Coppola movie. I own a lot of Coppola. We'll get to that. But just an unbelievable movie. I love the idea not only of how it was made, but how literally there's like a kind of this intoxicating kind of traversal, the heart of darkness of it all, kind of like all these people coming into the desert to kind of go through this apocalypse with Francis Ford Coppola. Just an incredible movie. I know I don't really have a lot to say about it because it's one of the most incredible movies of all time. But yeah, great movie. Good time. Babylon. Very polarizing movie, but I am pro. So pro that I own it. I remember seeing this movie and kind of being shoved over by it. It's loud. The score is unbelievable. I can't believe that score didn't win an Oscar. Brad Pitt's great. Margot Robbie's great. Just like an unhinged 3-hour joyride through kind of the darkness of movies going from silent to sound. And just a great movie on Babylon High, 100%. Bamboozled. This is another Spike Lee movie. I bought this specifically on the Criterion because of how it was shot with these kind of shitty digital cameras to kind of see the print. And it's gorgeous. And then there's the switch to film when they're doing the minstrel shows. An acidic satire, absolutely burning hot acidic satire that is both resonating and funny. And I mean, the performances are great in this. It's just like a nuclear satire that kind of becomes more relevant as the years go on. And I mean, just kind of like the incredible range of Spike Lee that he was able to do something like this. Next, Barry Lyndon. So this is part of that Stanley Kubrick collection. I got this whole box set for $5. It didn't include all the movies, and I've gotten rid of the movies that I had doubles of. Or there was, I believe, The Shining was I gave to somebody. 2001 I sold, and then Doctor Strangelove was just the case. But I've seen Barry Lyndon. I think it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's in my Kubrick kind of pantheon. It's more on the lower side, just because of like with the diversity of his filmography, you kind of find the things that you love the most about it. And I very much enjoy other ones more that are over here. So we'll get to that. Being John Malkovich, an insane movie. I'm a huge Spike Jonze fan. I'm a huge Charlie Kaufman fan, and so ahead of its time, so funny, so kind of surreal in the great ways. There's jokes in this that still hit, and I was kind of wary about it. I remember watching it before I became a nerd about this shit, and kind of being so perplexed by it and so weirded out by the vibe and what was going on. But yeah, just a total utter masterpiece of just kind of craziness. I mean, Roger Ebert says it right here, best of 1999. This is why you buy DVDs, folks, so you can get Roger Ebert quotes on your DVDs. As much as I love Blu-rays, sometimes you can't find them. Belly. This movie fucking rips. The colors, the story, the apocalyptic kind of ending to this movie is so wig pullbacky. Just an insane movie. DMX is incredible in this movie. Hype Williams, I wish he made more films. This movie just fucking rips. And it's really cool. And it's super sick. And I believe there's a Talented Mr. Ripley reference in this movie. I tend to believe that. Big Lebowski. A lot of Cohen over here. One of my friends, Jaron, who kind of helped me become a cinephile, a movie freak. We would quote this movie all the time at our former job, like anytime anything happened, am I the only one that gives a fuck about the rules? Or give a shit about the rules? That's my Mandela effect, because I always get that line wrong. But, and hey Donnie, you just wander in and out of conversation. And just, there's so many good quotables in this movie. And it's just a great movie, and it's a great movie to show people for the first time, because it just blows people's minds how this kind of confusing story is so kind of watchable and hilarious. Big fan. Birth. I own a lot of Jonathan Glazer over here. I think Jonathan Glazer is a kind of genius. This movie, I would say, is probably my least favorite out of the four, but it's also just so provocative and so watchable and so interesting and so emotionally kind of, there's a lot of layers to what's going on in this movie. It's very weird, it's very strange. There's kind of that like hint of science fiction that kind of hits both this movie and another movie of his that I have over here. I'll never forget when I saw Zone of Interest for the first time. We saw it at a local movie theater, the Glenwood Arts movie theater, and we became kind of friends with some of the workers there. And like, you know, that movie's just like a shotgun shell to the chest of like just the most horrific shit you've ever seen in your life, and such a powerful ending. And so we're walking out of the movie theater, and a coworker comes up to us. He's like, "Did you like the movie? Did you like the movie? Did you like the movie? Did you like the movie?" And it's like, bro, I just went through all this emotional kind of disemboweling about this horrific time in human history, and you're like jumping all over me about this movie. I remember we got a Tippins pie after that movie to kind of calm our nerves. But Birth, incredible movie, watch it. I know the kind of premise is kind of a little icky for people, but you know, sometimes you have to push the envelope, and sometimes through provocation we'll find like emotional catharsis. So Blue Velvet, David Lynch, my fucking guy. I think this is the first or second David Lynch movie I ever watched. I believe I watched Eraserhead first. And yeah, just a total utter masterpiece. I just watched the Euphoria finale, and the song that, God, I don't remember the actor's name or the character's name, but what he sings, the "I close my eyes," is in the end of Euphoria. And yeah, just made me think about it. Incredible movie. Shout out Kyle MacLachlan. I think we've missed over a bunch of, another couple Criterions. It'll flash on the screen what I have. Body Double. One of my favorite De Palma movies. This movie's fucking crazy, bro. Like, this shit is wild. And it's like, you know, when you watch like the rewatchables about this, or you listen to people talk about the way De Palma's kind of a freak, they ain't lying. This isn't my favorite one. I don't think I have any other De Palma over here, but Blowout is my favorite, but this is a close second. Just an incredible movie. Super cool. Incredible poster. Shout out Sarah Squirm when she does that movie poster video. She says this is one of the best posters ever, and I tend to agree. And she's hilarious. Alright. Now to the next side. Body Snatchers. So I believe there's a Warner Archives Blu-ray of this that is in Blu-ray, so obviously it looks better. I got this off eBay. It's Abel Ferrara's Body Snatchers. Insanely incredible movie. Absolutely fucking bonkers. All the Body Snatcher movies are pretty good. Even like The Invasion, it's not perfect, but it's super watchable because Nicole Kidman's incredible in it. And I haven't seen the 50s one yet. But out of those three, I mean, they're just an incredible story. It's kind of like with High to Low and Highest to Lowest. Like, people didn't really like Highest to Lowest. I thought it was pretty good. But like, just like as like story, High to Low, and I think it's The King's Ransom, what they adapt. Those are just incredible, just an incredible story. And no exception. And I think this is just some of the best, like, cover art for a movie ever. So, yeah. Alright, needed to make sure we were still recording. Alright. Bound, Criterion. Is it bad to say this is my favorite Wachowskis, even with The Matrix? Just incredible. You know, I love a good mobster flick with a twist. I think a lot of the shots in this are incredible. It's just an incredible story. Queer representation. And John Pantalino, pronouncing that horribly, but is incredible in this. I love the shade of red they have for blood in this when he comes in after he has like all the money and he has to clean it all, and then all the bills, and just, you know, lesbians fucking over the mob. Great time. No alcohol required. Bram Stoker's Dracula. So my manager at work swears by this movie. One of my coworkers swears by this movie. And Francis Ford Coppola was horny as fuck making this movie. But super cool visuals. I don't think it works completely for me as much as there's a lot of cool, crazy shit that goes on in this. But I've crossed oceans of time for you. Ball your fucking line. Hands team. The Brutalist. This was my favorite movie of 2024. I actually have a poster of it from the sneak preview we went to go. Just an absolutely incredible movie with incredible writing. And I've seen all the Brady Corbet movies, but I love how him and Mona Fastfold write so angrily. And especially with a movie like this that was like a labor of love that took forever, that had different casts, that was shot. I think it's kind of funny how other movies, especially ones that I'll talk about later, kind of overtook the fact that he was shooting on VistaVision. But this movie's gorgeous. It's long. You get so wrapped up in these people's lives. And Adrian Brody is incredible in this. And yeah, just an incredible movie. 824 Blu-ray. Begonia. So this is the Begonia Steelbook. I love Yorgos Lanthimos. If you put a gun to my head and ask me who's my favorite director working right now, I will say Yorgos Lanthimos. I think his movies are absolutely incredible. I clicked with his tone. I clicked with what he's searching for. I love how he misshapens all of his kind of traditional storytelling to kind of do it in this abstract way. And yeah, Begonia's no exception. I know he didn't write this, and some people kind of hit on kind of very on the nose writing in this, but I've seen Save the Green Planet. It's a great movie too, but Begonia, 5-star masterpiece. Anything Yorgos does is pretty good in my book. Cape Fear, underrated Scorsese movie. I know it's adapted from a 60s movie and Apple TV's doing it again, but this movie's really fucking scary. And De Niro's great in it. I think it's some of my favorite Scorsese kind of hyper filmmaking. I find it just absolutely awesome. absolutely sick. I wish I had it on Blu-ray, but you know, sometimes you gotta buy DVDs, you know? The Celebration. Super inspirational to me. I love the Dogma 95 movement. I love shooting on shitty cameras. I love the restraint that these filmmakers write with. And I bought the Criterion specifically because it includes the Dogma Manifesto. And this movie will just make you fucking so mad. It'll make you so mad. And it's super funny, and it's super terrifying and horrifying and disgusting, but it's awesome. It's fucking sick. Highly recommend. It's kind of turned into my birthday movie. I don't know what that says about me, but it's about a birthday. Chinatown. Fuck Roman Polanski. I bought this at a Best Buy because Jack Nicholson is unbelievable in this movie. I haven't watched it again since the first time I watched it. I haven't even put this Blu-ray in the Blu-ray player yet. But Jack Nicholson, not my favorite Jack Nicholson, we'll get to that. But it's a great movie with a fucking disgusting filmmaker behind it. Children of Men. If I have one male heartthrob that could swoon me so easily, his name is Clive Owen. We'll get to that. This movie is unbelievable. Just saw Choo Choo Elijah for him, Backrooms. The car scene's unbelievable. The story's unbelievable. The way it's shot, it's unbelievable. Just an incredible movie, and it's incredible to have on Blu-ray. It's so funny because I used to, like, at this point, because my shelves are so full, that I would go out and I would try and find specific movies, like, out in the wild, and some of them I did. I'll talk about that when I find, like, these holy grails out in the world. And I would go out and try and find this movie everywhere. Went and bought it on Amazon on Blu-ray, and then now you can find this fucking movie everywhere. So, whatever. Citizen Kane. I hate to admit that I watched Citizen Kane because I wanted to watch Mank to finish Fincher's filmography. Great movie. Love Orson Welles. This is not my favorite Orson Welles movie, but it's a great movie. It's a masterpiece, and I really don't have anything other to say than that. I need to give it a rewatch because I didn't really love it. I liked it a lot, but not my thing. Color of Money. Fucking smacker. The scene where Tom Cruise is getting his ass beat, and he's like, I can't remember the wording of it, but it's like one of the best, like, turning the camera around, you're watching them go around, he's like, do you feel that? It's like a sickness. And he's just like fucking dominating the board. Paul Newman's great in this. This is some of my favorite Cruise. There's like 3 Cruise performances that I'm like all in on. I know one of them's not over here, it's Collateral. But incredible Scorsese movie. Crash. David Cronenberg's Crash. Along with Spike Lee, I went on a huge Cronenberg binge. I haven't finished all of his movies, but I own a lot of them. And this movie fucking rips. I saw this first time in a movie theater. Just a strange experience because this movie it leaves you with more questions than answers. Super provocative. It's just like, James Spader is such a great, like, avatar for kind of walking into strange worlds. We'll get to that. But yeah, just a fucking mind fuck of a movie about people who are sexually attracted to car crashes. Cure. One of the best movies I've ever seen. I hate to admit that I haven't really explored past this on Kiyoshi Kurosawa. But this movie's unbelievable. I've seen it 100 times. I've showed people. I think about the scene, like the scenes where she pulls back the skin all the time. I think about the scene where he tries to light the cigarette and the doctor's like, you can't do that, so he pushes over the water to kind of mind control her. My playlist for my more aggressive music is the X that is left in the other person's apartment. Just a really fucking sick movie. Awesome. This is why Clive Owen is so sexy. Croupier. This movie's underseen. I can't believe I found a fucking DVD of this. I've seen it multiple times. It's just like it's a movie that should work and doesn't work for 99% of people, but if you love watching people lose, that concept, and kind of when he has like the blonde hair and he's trying to get the job and he looks across the casino and it's like, "Welcome back, Jack, to a house of addiction." It's like, it's cinema. The ending's crazy. This movie like should work and it really doesn't, but I think it's a 5-star masterpiece because Clive's incredible in it, and I just love the concept of him being the croupier, watching people lose and writing about it and kind of being shady about it and kind of dissenting into like it consuming him. Fucking awesome movie. Now a movie we don't like, Benjamin Button. It's not my flavor of Fincher. I mean, I don't think Fincher needs to be sentimental in the slightest, if I'm being honest. If I'm being 100% honest. I don't really give a shit if he has to be sentimental. Kate Blanchett's great in this movie. Brad Pitt does a great performance. Benjamin Button, I'm 10, but I look a lot older, is something I say all the fucking time. I just think it's so funny. I own it because I want to have a lot of Fincher filmography. So, there's that. Now this is one of the holy grails that I have found out in the public. I'm a huge Bjork fan. Lars von Trier, for all of his controversies and kind of mental health things that kind of bleed through as people think about him and describe him. This is my favorite of his. Bjork songs are incredible in this. The way it's shot, it's incredible in this. The story is so fucking devastating. And I just love Bjork. And I believe that this is a bootleg that I found at a local Half Price Books. But I've wanted to own this movie for a long time. I didn't want to fucking import it. I don't have like a region-free Blu-ray. And it's on DVD, but really I don't give a shit. Yeah. Great fucking movie. 5-star masterpiece. Days of Heaven. Terrence Malick and I...
Okay.
What the fuck? That was terrifying. That's never happened before. Had to make sure nobody was cyber attacking me. What the hell? Anywho, Terrence Malick. Gorgeous fucking movie. Here's a great idea. If you want to make a gorgeous movie, shoot during golden hour. Will make your movie beautiful. I remember trying to show this to somebody and they kind of got weirded out about how this boyfriend girlfriend had to be perceived as brother and sister, but I don't know. I haven't seen this movie in a really long time. Frankly, I haven't even watched this Criterion yet, but I've owned it for a really long time. But it's a gorgeous movie, and if you want to see this movie, you should buy it on Blu-ray. Dazed and Confused. I should have the Criterion of this. I don't. I just picked this up at my local Savers because it's just a great vibe. Good hangout vibes. Smoking weed. Playing baseball. It's fucking Richard Linklater. The fuck? Very close second to Before Sunset for me. Yeah. Young Ben Affleck, Matthew McConaughey. It's classic. It's just a great fucking vibe. Great hanging. Alright. The Departed. This is a really shitty DVD that I got in Montana from a really cool store that I only went to once. The back is ripped. I should probably upgrade this because it's a great movie. Great Jack. Great Leo. Leo's been wound up before in other movies, but I don't think he's been this like tightly wound with contradictions and kind of crisscrossy ratness. And great Matt Damon. Scorsese. What am I supposed to say? Devil in a Blue Dress. So, the craziest thing about me owning this DVD is I've wanted to watch this movie forever. Sometimes I'll blind buy Criterions, but sometimes, money's tight. Can't really do that all the time. So whenever this hit Hulu, I watched it instantly, loved it, went to my local Savers, and lo and behold, this was sitting there. So I own it. Incredible Denzel, charming as ever, just a great kind of noir, kind of just a great, Don Cheadle's unbelievable in this. 2 thumbs up. Siskel and Ebert. So the movie that I double featured Anatomy of a Fall with is a little movie called Divinity. And when I was becoming obsessed with movies, this was premiering at Sundance. And just like the black and white cinematography, the like promo shot of a homeboy sitting in the chair with a homie from Hannah Montana and that other dude tying him up. This movie's fucking crazy, and it's really cool, really gross. I saw this by myself in a movie theater, and this is the Vinegar Syndrome box one. Just like incredible packaging. I've seen this on Blu-ray. I showed one of my friends who also had a great time with it. Not to spoil it, but the miniatures at the end are unbelievable. The fight at the end is unbelievable. Just a really cool movie, really weird, great horror movie. Eddie Alcazar. Finish Bullet Time, please. And then Bella Thorne's also in this. Just a lot of Disney people in it. Django. So I own every Tarantino movie. Like every kind of nerdy guy in his early teens. Quentin Tarantino's kind of provocative filmmaking is so enticing. Django's no exception. I find all these movies incredible. I find what he's doing in the press now very stupid. Just make a fucking 10th movie and move on with your life, even though your life's kind of weird right now. Great movie. I think it's funny that Christoph Waltz also won for this. Leo in this is like brain busting. Can't believe it. Yeah. Great movie. Dogtooth. Fucking hilarious. I saw this with Jaron, my friend, at Screenland Armor when they did the re-release. And people did not know what they were walking themselves into. I think this movie's hilarious. Even this time around with Jaron, he opened my eyes to parts of this movie I didn't even know or didn't even click for me. Very provocative, very weird, very stale. But there's scenes in this that stay with me forever. When she slashes his arm for stealing her airplane. The kind of like hitting her with the VHS tapes of Jaws. Just absolute fucking crazy movie. Donnie Darko. I used to own the director's cut of this movie, but then I switched to this one because the director's cut doesn't have that opening song. The Bunnymen, whatever that song is. But I like Donnie Darko. I've never watched this Arrow version of it. I haven't really watched it since the first time I saw it, but it's a very cool movie. It's very cool that like young Jake Gyllenhaal, young Maggie Gyllenhaal, Patrick Swayze, rest in peace. Just like a very cool snapshot of where we were, even though this was pre 9/11. It's a post 9/11 release, and kind of how just kind of strange it is, and how cool it is to be like just like one of those crazy weird movies you can watch. Doctor Strangelove, hilarious movie. I don't really have anything to add. I love Don't Argue in the War Room. Just a really funny satire. I think it's awesome. I used to be obsessed about the Cold War. I used to be obsessed with JFK. I used to be obsessed about that period of time. I just think it's awesome that this is like a frightening satire about those times made during those times. So this is real shitty, but there's a reason I own this. So this is a, what brand? East-West DVD I found for 99 cents. It's a double feature of Drive-In Massacre and Abel Ferrara's Driller Killer. Abel Ferrara, one of my favorite filmmakers. Driller Killer, a great exploitation movie about a guy who kills people with a drill. What more do you want? It has everything that you want from an Abel Ferrara movie. It's his like first official non-pornographic movie. And it's great. It will shatter you. Drive-In Massacre is like a drive-in movie. That sucks. This as a DVD sucks. Quality's terrible, sounds terrible, but I think eventually, once I really want to finish my my Abels, I'll get the Arrow version of Driller Killer, but I think it's more fun to own this really shitty double feature of it for 99 cents. David Lynch's Dune. Just a campy mess. I know he absolutely disowned this movie. I think it's fun. I wouldn't say I'm like a Dune, like I don't pound the table for Dune. I pound the table for this movie because I just love how weird it is. But yeah, great movie. Kyle MacLachlan, first David Lynch movie. And if you like campy, gooey messes, give it a shot. Eastern Promises. So, when I didn't have all of my Cronenbergs under my belt, this was one of the first Cronenbergs I watched. And I felt like I watched them out of order, because this movie is very different from the rest of Cronenberg. It still has some gore, but it's kind of like his start of his kind of like plasticky, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, the sheen on these movies, his later movies like The Shroud and Cosmopolis, this is kind of the start of it. It's like this kind of velvety, kind of fleshy kind of filmmaking from him. And so I bought this to rewatch it, and I still have my same opinions. I don't think this movie works completely, but it's still cool. And Viggo's great in it. Naomi Watts, come on. Vincent Cassell, come on. It's just a cool movie to think about. This is one of my favorite movies ever, Easy Rider. Great counterculture movie from the 60s. Super awesome. I mean, it's like, some of the stoner songs in this are incredible. Some of the motorcycle driving in this movie is incredible. I rewatched like about 30 minutes of this recently because I wanted to feel something. Probably my favorite, Jack Nicholson. The speech he gives at the end of this movie when they convince him to smoke and not drink. And he basically says everything that's been going on for the last 60 years or so, or 50 years from this movie. Incredible fucking movie. Super inspirational to me. I love Dennis Hopper. I love how Dennis Hopper ends his movies. If you know, you know. And yeah, Criterion. Baller. Eddington. I was kind of an Ari Aster kind of, not hater, but I was more on my toes about him. Because I never really enjoyed the first hour of Hereditary. It took me a lot of times to, not because I don't like horror movies, it just was like, not really my thing. I didn't really like the, I don't know what Wolf Brother it is, but I just didn't really click with his character. I would get to the part where she would get decapitated, and I'd be like, I think I get it. I finally finished it. It's a good movie. I don't think it's like God's gift to Earth, like most people think it is, but this is the best Ari Aster. I think he's great. It's great as a satire. I think it spits in the face of everybody. It's a bazooka to every kind of political party, kind of ideology. And I've seen this movie a lot, and it just keeps getting smarter. I can't believe this movie exists. Big, huge Joaquin Phoenix guy. Yeah. Insane movie. So I've recently rewatched this. This is the out-of-print Blu-ray, which just lost its value because of the 4K re-release. But this movie makes me cry. Man tears. I think it's kind of a shame that this isn't like everybody's top 5 David Lynch. I think people take it for granted as a movie. I think Anthony Hopkins is great. I think John Hurt is great. I think John Hurt hurts me in this movie. He makes me cry. Most specifically, the scene where they're reciting Shakespeare together is some of the best tear-jerking shit ever. If I need a good cry, this is the movie I go to. Evil Dead 2. Fucking rips. Just a great fucking time. Great fucking, how long is this movie? Like 90 minutes? 84 minutes? Just like funny, awesome, great practical effects. Sam Raimi just going balls to the wall bonkers. Just super sick. Hello, Josie. Now this is my favorite Kubrick. I used to own the traditional Blu-ray, but now I've gotten the Criterion. I haven't revisited this movie since I bought the Criterion, but this is my favorite Kubrick movie. I remember when I would talk to some of my film bro friends that that's kind of like a weird take to have, but frankly I don't give a shit. This is my favorite Tom Cruise, some of my favorite Nicole Kidman, and it's just a very strange movie. Great time at the movies, just like what's the password? You're knocking over my stuff, man. She's a crazy cat, I tell you what. But yeah, I know this one has the right color grading, the way Kubrick hopefully would have intended to see it. But yeah, cool movie, cool fucking vibes, brother. Now this is my favorite Orson Welles movie, F for Fake. This movie is fucking mental. It's like a docudrama comedy about art forgery and biography forging and magic, and Orson Welles is fucking cooking in this movie. The edit for what year? 1975 is crazy. It's hilarious. It pulls the rug on you a bunch of times, and like he sets it up in the first 15 minutes how this joyride starts. And I remember when I used to work at my old job, I would have my AirPods in and like listen to podcasts and shit. You can literally listen to this movie like a podcast. I know that's probably not the way Orson Welles would have intended this movie to be watched, but it's just a very interesting, fun exploration of mimicry. Hey, more Yorgos, The Favorite, great fucking movie, hilarious. This movie is hilarious. You'll never find a movie funnier than this. Actually, you could. But it's an incredible movie. I'm glad this is what started the kind of... I mean, I know he got the Oscar nomination for The Lobster script, but this is what became the apple of... or like what started the kind of Yorgos train of all of his movies being this kind of international kind of flavor. Fargo. I wouldn't say this is my favorite Coens. It's definitely in like the top 10. Super hilarious. Steve Buscemi. Everybody knows this script is dynamite. I just like other ones more. And yeah, it's a great movie. I don't really have a lot to say about these masterpieces. Sort of like this Fight Club. I think people don't get Fight Club. I think people take it the wrong way. I think it's very much been warped in people's mind views. I believe this movie is really awesome, and it's really awesome that this is a Fincher movie, and it's really awesome that Fincher goes back in movies like The Killer and kind of retrospectively looks in the mirror and he's like, I made Fight Club, because it kind of, once he brought it out into the world, it kind of lost its, or like once it was given to the public kind of took it in a bunch of different ways. Falling. Christopher Nolan. This is the only Christopher Nolan Criterion release. I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I think on Letterboxd right now I have it like a 4.5. It's just like, there's a bunch of movies like Bamboozled or other movies that I'm going to talk about. There's like Celebration, shit like that. That's like, for people like me who want to be inspired to make movies, and you have no money, you have barely any equipment, you don't have the ability to walk in places and say, we're going to film here. Shit like this, The Following, is what you should be inspiring to make, because it's a kind of, it's in the Nolan tradition, it's out of order, but what is homie's name in this movie? Alex Hall. This is his only film performance, and it's unfucking believable. It's like some of the best like talking with your hands acting you'll ever see in your life. I've seen it a bunch of times. Like I said, it's only 70 minutes, and I own the Criterion because I believe in this movie so much. But it's just a really cool movie, and people should check it out, and people should give it a chance. I think a lot of people review this movie and they are expecting it to be like even a movie like Memento, which I think is worse than this. But I think people really come to this movie with expectations because they've grown to love Nolan for a specific reason, and it's like everybody has to start somewhere. I mean, I have this Scorsese box set that we haven't even got to, and like things like Boxcar Bertha. It's like I didn't really like Boxcar Bertha, but I can see that all of what Scorsese was going to do for the next 40 years is in Boxcar Bertha. So people should give this movie a shot. Foxcatcher. I've rewatched this movie a few years ago. I've seen it twice. It's a very slow movie, especially when you know not only where the movie goes, but also the story of it. Probably the most tragic sports story that I have such a fascination with. And I think it's a good movie, not a great one. And I think that it should be given some more appraisal as time goes on. Maybe I'll rewatch it again. Maybe I'll like it more after a rewatch because I loved it the first time, and then the second time I was like, it has its flaws, especially with how slow it is, and especially like when you know where it's going, because this movie is like an hour and 40 minutes, or like it's 2 hours and 14 minutes. So once you know where the story goes, it's kind of hard to watch. I am so ashamed that I've never watched this movie. Not because it's a Best Picture winner or because one of my old kind of fascinations, Frank Sinatra's in this movie, because my late grandfather gave me this DVD and I've just never popped it into the DVD player. So I don't have anything to say about this other than telling my grandfather, Papa, I'm sorry that I haven't watched this, but we will get there, I promise. I think this is the most recent Criterion that I've purchased. Kind of like what I was saying with Following. If you want to make movies, these are the movies you should try to be making. Frownland, which is a fucking insane movie. It like tears all the skin off your body. It makes you feel so fucking awkward. It makes you feel so fucking stressed out. It makes you feel so... It's not a fun hang. In the words of Patton Oswalt, this is not a date movie. But also at the same time, if you find your person that likes this movie, put a ring on it. Especially also if you're obsessed with the Safdie brother movies, like this, you get why they meld so well together when you watch the only Ronald Bronstein directed film. Insane movie. This and Yeast are really essential viewing for people that want to make movies. Full Metal Jacket. I can't remember if this is 2 or 3 in my Kubrick rankings, but I love Full Metal Jacket. I really love the first hour like everyone else does, and the second hour is as good as the first hour. I think people just need to stop wanting guns and violence to be all the time in their war movies. Every war movie is an anti-war movie, and this especially is one of the best anti-war movies of all time. Insane. The Game, which has one of the worst spines of all fucking time. But it's a great movie. I think people don't give this movie the credit it deserves. I think even David Fincher says that like his wife didn't want him to do the script or something along those lines. But it's super inspirational. I mean, even the title credits are inspirational to Succession and shit like that. Incredible Michael Douglas. The chick from Crash, Cronenberg's Crash, is in this movie. And just kind of like really cool, really sick movie. Great time. No alcohol required. Get Out. This is one of the first DVDs I've ever got. I think I pulled this off from like Target $4 pile or some shit. My favorite Peele, I feel like this might be a super hot take because there's another one down here, but Peele's movies kind of go like this for me. Like Get Out was such a incredible movie, and then Us is pretty good, and then Nope is kind of more on that. But just incredible for its time.
for being a Blumhouse movie, it's very good. That's all I gotta say. This is one of the best movies ever made. Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. If you put a gun to my head and ask me what my favorite mobster movie is, I probably would say this, which is kind of crazy because, you know, The Godfather, King of New York, shit like that. But just the way that this is a gangster crime movie. Stop what you're doing. Gangster in the sense of hip-hop, but also Forrest Whitaker's character, Ghost Dog, is one of the best characters ever written. My favorite Jarmusch movie. I'm not as in the know about Jarmusch as I should be, but yeah. So, great fucking film. Watch this film. Buy it on Criterion, especially because you get the kind of proverbs that he says from the Book of the Samurai. And yeah. And as you can see, my cat is super comfy in her little spot right now. So now we're going to go to the second layer, and I'm going to clear this clutter. Be right back. Oh, wait, I'm not going to be right back. This is the last movie on this shelf, Ghost Rider Collection. Ghost Rider is my favorite Marvel character. This has both Ghost Rider and Spirits of Vengeance. Ghost Rider, the first one, not particularly my favorite movie of all time, but it's cool. I enjoy it. Spirits of Vengeance fucking rips. In the words of my Letterboxd review, I didn't give it 3 stars, I gave it 3 hell yeahs. Because it's the people that made Crank. And it fucking rips. And Nick Cage does some of the craziest shit of all time. I could not tell you a plot description of this movie at all. I couldn't tell you one thing that happens in this movie, to be honest. But it's awesome. It's a great fucking time. And it's a lot better than a lot of the slop we get nowadays because it actually has a directorial kind of vision for the movie. So, yeah. Watch Spirits of Vengeance. We need another Ghost Rider movie. Even if it's fucking Gosling. Let's do it. I'll be right back. Alrighty. I moved some things around to make this a lot easier. Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. This is one of the first Blu-rays that I bought when I moved into this place. Very underrated in the Fincher kind of catalog, in my opinion. The Feel Bad Christmas movie up this year. Just absolutely incredible. Super provocative. Everyone acts their ass off. It's a Fincher movie. Most Fincher movies are great. Godfather trilogy. I think I'm partial to 1 more than 2. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. And then 3 I've seen recently. I believe this is our first diabetes reference or diabetes kind of thing that happens in a movie. Type 1 diabetic. 3 is weird. 2 and 1 are classics. I don't really have anything to say about it. Gone Girl. I haven't seen this movie in a very long time. It's more on the bottom half of my Finchers, but it's still great. It's the closest we get to kind of Ben Affleck for me as like a great performance. Super awesome. The cool girl monologue, the slashing Neil Patrick Harris's throat at the end of this movie. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in this movie, and it's very interesting that it's kind of looking at Ben Affleck's kind of life and career in the spotlight in this kind of awesome, crazy way. Super cool. Super sick movie. Goodfellas. We're just gonna say this is his best movie. Marty can make a movie, and this is the best one. Probably should have this on Blu-ray, but I don't. I believe I bought this in Chicago. I remember when I watched it for the first time, I had to watch it a second time, and I've seen it a bunch more times since then. I had to watch it twice in succession. What's there to say? It's a fucking awesome classic mobster movie that's just on cocaine. Like, this movie is a joyride. The Graduate. I don't really have a lot to say about this movie. I've most recently watched carnal knowledge, which I think I like more than this movie. Dustin Hoffman, kind of a particular type of psychoticness that I don't really love to hear about, but he's a great performer. I don't really have a lot to say. I haven't seen this movie in a really long time. I own this because I was given this by somebody that upgraded to the Criterion version. Just kept it because it's a good movie. Very impactful for a lot of people. It's a good movie, but it's not like one of my movies. Grandma's Boy. So I bought this even before I was a movie nerd, when I was like 13 or 14, because this shit was on Comedy Central all the fucking time. Super hilarious. I don't know if it's particularly held up in the kind of like, the humor relative to its time and how it's aged. But as a movie about a guy who makes video games and needs to grow up, and Jonah Hill's in this movie. There's weed smoking, there's funny grandma moments. It's kind of just like a great great movie that was on Comedy Central all the time. I don't think it's aged well, but I own it. Grindhouse. So, like I said, I own all the Quentin Tarantino movies. Death Proof is a movie that took me a very long time to sort of appreciate a lot more. Besides Reservoir Dogs, I feel like Death Proof is a movie. It's like if you want bite-sized Tarantino, like straight to the vein, Death Proof is the easiest way to get through one, because most of his movies are kind of on the longer side. But yeah, it's a great Death Proof. I really enjoy. I wouldn't say it's like in the top half of my Tarantinos, but there's only 9 of them, or 10 of them, really. And yeah, Planet Terror. I really do enjoy Planet Terror. I think Robert Rodriguez kind of has a stranglehold on my childhood because of Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Spy Kids. And like, I remember when I was doing my internship out in Montana, they did Spy Kids as like a movie night for kids on the giant screen in the baseball field. And it's just kind of strange that this person that made movies like Planet Terror and From Dusk Till Dawn also made these incredible kids movies. And yeah, Grindhouse is super sick. The trailers are super funny. I've seen most of the trailers. I don't think I've ever seen Grindhouse as like a complete cohesive thing, but it's really cool. And this was a Best Buy purchase before they stopped selling Blu-rays and DVDs. Gummo. So I think it's awesome that Harmony Korine gets the Criterion kind of treatment. I went through all the rest of Harmony's kind of filmography. This is my second favorite, behind, or number 1 is Julian Donkey Boy. I think that's the best version of Harmony. I think that's the most cohesive Harmony experience. But this is just great for what it is. It's kind of like a nasty kind of portrayal of lower class life post-tornado, and these people kind of falling into the shittiest parts of society and the worst people ever. And Chloe Sevigny, just like absolutely awesome as like a part of this whole Harmony experience. More on that. And yeah, this is just a crazy movie you should watch and you should own, and then you can get those kind of weird looks for owning it, but I don't care. I think it's a great movie. Hancock. So this is a childhood favorite that was pulled out of old DVDs that we had when I was a kid. Would I say this is a good movie? No. Are the people behind this movie great? Yes. Michael Mann, Vince Gilligan, come on. I think the scene where Will Smith gets confronted by that little kid and he throws him up into the sky is still fucking hilarious. And yeah, I haven't really revisited this movie in a very long time, but I put it up here because it kind of is a signal for like those movies that my parents showed me younger than I should have. And it's really it's just a weird artifact because, yeah, it was produced by Michael Mann, it was written by Vince Gilligan. Peter Berg is doing the new Call of Duty movie. Just strange flick. So when I purchased this, I did not realize that this was an out-of-print version of Hard 8, Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie. I know he kind of has his own feelings about this movie because it was kind of taken away from him because he was so young. But this is the out-of-print version of Hard 8 that includes a lot of cool stuff. And if you're a PTA fan like me, it's cool that this movie exists because it's like he got classic PTA actors like Philip Baker Hall and John C. Reilly in it, and then there's Samuel L. Jackson's in this, and it's kind of just a cool kind of pulpy movie that like is the start of a great run that PTA has been on. Hateful Eight. So one of my earliest memories of going to the movie theater is actually seeing this post my kind of, wow, Pulp Fiction is the best movie ever made kind of experience. Just a weird viewing for a variety of reasons. I picked this up because I wanted to just have all the Tarantino movies, and then a few months ago there was a huge snowstorm that happened. I called out of work because I couldn't get there, and I watched this, and maybe the most he's ever riffed on himself, the most like this movie's a play that Tarantino's ever done. It has some of the best names in the Tarantino universe. The performances are great, but if there has to be a Tarantino movie that I like the least, it's probably this one. But it's still very awesome and very cool. He Got Game. This is one of the things that's like, I want to find this out in the wild. I don't want to like, purchase it directly. I think this movie's really great. I think Ray Allen does as well as you can as a 19, 20-year-old acting in this part. I know a lot of people have their kind of trepidations about his performance and the ending, but this is one of my favorite Spike Lee movies, and I think especially as a Spike Lee movie that kind of foretells, that's a lot of what Spike does best, is he kind of can tell the future in a lot of his movies. Whenever it was Black History Month, I watched Get on the Bus as a re-release, and that is another movie that foretells the future. And especially with NIL and a bunch of the things that go on in basketball nowadays, this is just a crazy movie. And it's really good. And it's just one of the great Spike Lee joints that you should watch. Now for the greatest movie ever made. One of them. Top 3. Heat. Michael Mann's Heat. This movie fucking rips. Unbelievable. I quote it all the time. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Peter Sizemore. That's his name, right? Hope I didn't get Tom Sizemore, excuse me. Just a fucking awesome action movie. Probably the best action movie ever made. 3 hours and a breeze. I'm about 30 pages into Heat 2. I'm still not only kind of getting over the difficulty for me to get through books. Like, it's not something that gravitates towards me all the time. But this movie's fucking awesome, and I upgraded to the Blu-ray because whenever I watch this again, I wanted to see it in the best way possible. Heathers. Unbelievably hilarious, great satire. I remember I showed my friend this movie, and he didn't like that it was like a teen suicide allegory. And he didn't like that the jokes were all centering that. I don't know. As like a high school drama that kind of scratches the kind of like teenage angst and kind of the fear of death in teenageism, and not even that, but like cliques and everything that this movie touches on. It's fucking hilarious, and Winona's incredible and awesome in this movie. Christian Slater's Jack Nicholson impression greetings and salutations. It's just, yeah, awesome fucking movie. History of Violence. So I bought this before the Criterion did their re-release. I've only watched it once, and I think like this and Constantine and V for Vendetta are some of the best like mid-2000s DC adaptions that don't feel superhero-y, and kind of like as a Cronenberg comeback, this is just an awesome fucking movie. I need to revisit again because I don't think I fully appreciated it the first time I watched this. I grabbed it from Savers as I was going through my Cronenbergs, and this one's kind of hard to find. But just incredible Viggo, incredible Ed Harris, just like a great, like, kind of like Eastern Promises, these kind of mobster gangster movies that are like on a different wavelength, you know? So, give this movie a shot. Fucking awesome. Next I have this Alfred Hitchcock collection that I just grabbed because I wanted to see Vertigo. I haven't watched The Man Who Knew Too Much and The Trouble with Harry, but I've seen Psycho and I've seen Vertigo, and those are obvious thriller classics, Hitchcockian classics. Not a lot to say. Vertigo, VistaVision, beautiful. Yeah. House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie. So, my dad was a tattoo artist, and he tattooed Captain Spaulding on my uncle. I really didn't put all of that together until I saw House of a Thousand Corpses, and this movie's really awesome. This was gifted to me by a friend, and just kind of like grungy exploitation kind of movie that's super sick, super twisted. The Firefly Family in this and The Devil's Rejects, which I like a little bit more because I think as like there's movies that you hear about that people like a lot, and then there's movies that you hear that are like, you know, how do I describe this? Like movies that kind of blow you away with how good they are is something I felt about with The Devil's Rejects. I wasn't expecting that movie to be as great as it was because I just, you know, it's just this grungy, pulpy exploitation film with guns and violence and gore and like, and then you watch The Devil's Rejects and you're like, holy shit, every performance in the movie is incredible. The ending's incredible. I've still never seen the third one because why do I? But yeah, as the front says, the work of demonic brilliance. House of a Thousand Corpses. So one night I was just trying to figure out something to watch, and I've heard a lot about Hunger. I wasn't familiar with Steve McQueen's work, and I threw this on and then had the most stressful 96 minutes of my life, because this is the loud, like, I think in terms of emotional kind of eruption, this movie is so loud and so stressful and so kind of heartbreaking and terrifying. And like, I remember, I think in like the first 15 minutes, one of the security guards at the prison swings on somebody, misses, and hits like the corner of like a wall, and you just, and like fucks up his fingers, and you feel all of that in this movie. Oh my god, 5-star masterpiece, my favorite Steve McQueen movie. I haven't revisited this movie, and I own it because whenever I do, I want to see it the best way possible, but it is a tough fucking sit, ladies and gentlemen. Tough fucking sit. Not as tough as sitting in my little bookshelf like she is. Alright, so then I moved the rest of it. The Hurt Locker. So, I know people kind of have some trepidation about this movie. I think as an idea, as bomb diffusers walking into enemy territory to defuse fucking bombs, and this beating Avatar for Best Picture, I think it's just an astounding movie. It's a great Anthony Mackie movie. It's a great fucking why am I blanking all these names? Jeremy Renner movie. And yeah, if you just like stress, if you think Catherine Bigelow is a fucking animal, like when you hear stories about her in Point Break surfboarding with them, when you hear about her befriending a bunch of people where they were filming this to protect them, when you kind of hear the lengths she'll go for her films, she's just a fucking animal. And women directors need to be appreciated more. And of course, her winning Best Picture is some of the greatest appreciation a female director has gotten, but we need to go farther than that. Now for actually, oh, nope, we got one more. The Hustler. So, of course, I've seen The Color of Money. It took me a while to get to The Hustler. Just another great Paul Newman, tragic pool movie. I think it's interesting to watch The Color of Money before you've seen The Hustler. I think this movie's great. Don't really remember a lot from it other than just kind of him kind of falling apart before this great battle. And I think artistically, Pool is incredible. And yeah, Paul Newman, great movie. Now for my favorite movie of all time. The movie I probably watch the most, the movie I quote the most, the movie that I pull people in to watch and then we quote it together. In the Loop, funniest movie ever made, actually. Some of the greatest performances. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini. I've seen this movie so many fucking times. It's so easy to just throw on and get lost in the first 15 minutes. The "Get me fucking Brian!" and just all the quotes in this movie. It's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely hilarious, and it just keeps getting funnier every time I see it. I die laughing at this movie. My stomach hurts watching this movie. It's in my top 4 for a reason. I finally accepted the fact that this is probably my favorite movie ever. My favorite Nolan movie ever, Inception. Shitty DVD that I got from in Montana. Probably should upgrade to a Blu-ray. I just remember, this movie just overtakes you, and it takes you on a great joyride. It's just the best. I think it's the best kind of when Nolan starts Christopher Nolan everywhere. This is what I think about, is that this is probably the best version of it. And I mean, I know people love their Interstellars, people love their Mementos, but I'm an Inception guy. Inception guy. Infinity Pool. So I've recently seen the uncut version of this movie, which adds more genitalia. But I remember seeing this movie in a movie theater and just having the best time of my fucking life. This is Brandon Cronenberg, son of David Cronenberg's movie. Mia Goth is probably my favorite actress ever. Just what's the Nicole Kidman ad? I think I've made this reference before with another Mia Goth movie, but we come to these movies for magic. Well, I come to these movies to watch Mia Goth yell at people. And shocking, crazy. I love the concept. I think I watched this movie 4 times when it came out that year. So I know this movie pretty much frontwards and backwards. It's an interesting movie. It's strange. I love that Skarsgård did it. I love that every few years, like with Pillion this year, we get like a kind of indie Skarsgård where he just is like set free in the wild. And yeah, fucking incredible movie. Glorious Bastards. So this is part of the box set from Arrow. I upgraded from the DVD. I'm sad to admit that it took me a long time to kind of get over Brad Pitt's accent in this movie. Obviously this movie's incredible. It's some people's favorite Tarantino's. It slowly keeps moving up my rankings. It's probably the one that I've rewatched the most recently, especially because I do have the Arrow box set. And yeah, what's there to say? This is Christoph Waltz's best performance. This is the best like first 15 minutes of a Tarantino movie. And yeah, it's just a great fucking fuck you to the Nazis. Inland Empire. So I have this version because as a Lynch superfan, I think owning something, I want to, yeah. So I believe this is a DavidLynch.com release. And I wanted the DavidLynch.com release because, you know, especially for a movie like Inland Empire, which was like, as with a lot of these movies, kind of shot on these shitty digital cameras. I wanted the DVD because I wanted, as much as I know probably the Criterion has a beautiful restoration, this thing's just creepy as fuck. It's the most creepy pasta David Lynch movie of all time. It's the last David Lynch movie we ever got. And it's just crazy. I've only seen it once, but I remember it cover to cover. And it's just very strange, and I think Laura Dern is unbelievable in this. And I think this is great that, like, besides The Return, this is something that is kind of the last knowable kind of Laura Dern, David Lynch collaboration that felt more like this than like her fitting into the Twin Peaks story. So yeah, Inland Empire. Inside Llewyn Davis. I think the second time around when I watched this, because I showed somebody, I was like, there's nothing holding this back from being a masterpiece. Incredible movie. Oscar Isaac's incredible in it. Carey Mulligan. Kind of in that two Justin Timberlake performances that are just unbelievable. Adam Driver, hilarious. Hey, Mr. Kennedy. And yeah. What does Homeboy tell Oscar Isaac's character? Maybe you should get back together. Now, why the fuck would you say that? Inside Man. This movie deserves a rewatch. I really liked it. I think every kind of like Mount Rushmore filmmaker should get their heist movie, their horror movie, and I mean his horror movie is eek. But Clive Owen, Denzel, Jodie Foster, Christopher Plummer, just a great heist movie. And I think, like, I don't know if it's just me, but because of movies like Heat, or even like, I know this, I've seen this movie recently, but like Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, like once you see these like gargantuan heist movies, you become much more critical of like their sons. And yeah, great movie. The Insider. I think it's also awesome when like these famed filmmakers make these arguing in room movies, and especially a movie like this is fucking incredible. I find Al Pacino in this movie great. What's the line? Like, what do you expect? Grace and resilience or whatever, when talking about how like Russell Crowe's character's life is kind of falling apart because he's the whistleblower. And there's, of course, the courtroom scene. There's the scene at the end of the movie where he starts, when Al Pacino argues about putting him on the air. Just like a really cool artifact that, like, I found this for $1.99. There should be a better restoration of this. But just like, if you're a Michael Mann completist like me, I assume this is in your top 5. It's certainly in mine. Maybe it's 3. So this is the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the Philip Kaufman one. Incredible horror movie. I've rewatched this pretty recently. Works so well. Donald Sutherland, crack. I know she's also in she's in Days of Heaven, Brooke Adams. Just an incredible face, especially for the 70s time. Jeff Goldblum, fucking Robert Duvall for 45 seconds. Just like a really sick, awesome movie. Isle of Dogs. So, huge Wes Anderson guy. I feel like this movie's kind of been lost in the sauce. I'm more pro Isle of Dogs than I am pro Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I know is hangable offense. But I really love this movie, and I really like the kind of heart and bleeding heart, and I love the animation in this. And if I have to choose between the two animated Wes Andersons, I'm going towards this one. I rewatched it in preparation for the Phoenician Scheme. And like, Wes really doesn't do any wrong for me. I just don't really click with the Fantastic Mr. Fox movie. That's like probably the one I like the least, but even then it's still a great movie. But Isle of Dogs, great movie. I think the banter between the four main dogs, which is it's like Bill Murray, Ed Norton, and Bryan Cranston, and I don't remember the last one, but those four dogs, I just love their kind of camaraderie and kind of goofiness together. Jackie Brown. So, in preparation for The Whole Bloody Affair, which I saw in theaters, I wanted to rewatch the two Tarantinos I've only seen once. It was Hateful Eight and it was Jackie Brown. I really love Jackie Brown. I find it more fun to live in Tarantino's kind of creative world than him diving into a piece of art himself. But this is still great. I think this is hilarious that this is the only Robert De Niro collaboration. I think everyone acts their ass off. Pam Grier's unbelievable in this. Samuel L. Jackson's incredible in this. Chris Tucker, incredible in this. Like, it's very hard not to love this movie, especially if you just like Tarantino dialogue and kind of a pulpy kind of heist movie. And yeah, just a cool, sick movie. JFK. So this version of the movie sucks. This is the director's cut, and the scenes they add in this movie just kind of don't need to be there. Because I remember rewatching this version specifically and being like, why does he have to explain himself on national television about the JFK assassination? But JFK as a movie, outside of the director's cut, is a 5-star masterpiece. And it is the one of the greatest edited movies of all time. And Kevin Costner is incredible in it. Tommy Lee Jones, Joe Pesci, Kevin Bacon. Like, I love that there's a movie out there from a fucking psycho like Oliver Stone, where he's basically like, this is my theory on the JFK assassination, and you're gonna watch it, and some of y'all are gonna believe it. John Wick trilogy. So I had somebody move out, and I said, can I snag this for my collection? They said, sure. I've only seen the first John Wick. I've seen about an hour and 15 minutes of the second one. And I mean, the first one's great, even though the music in that movie is fucking crazy terrible. But I don't know, just never really got around. It's really hard for me to get through like a franchise unless I'm like all in. But yeah, I own 3 and there's 4 or 5 now. Couldn't tell you. Kids. So this was a really awesome find because this movie's impossible to find, especially in like an American version of this movie. This movie is very good because the Harmony Korine script mixed with kind of like this like horribleness of the boys, mixed with this AIDS storyline, mixed with, and it all really clicked for me in the scene where Chloe Sevigny meets up with Harmony in this movie, and they're at this party, and it's like total like brain melting, drugs, sex, like cussing, but also like saying slurs and just like being the worst human beings to ever walk this earth because they're teenage boys. And this kind of horrible, disturbing ending to this movie. It's kind of just like the most like nauseating nuclear experience that you can go through, and it's also just like a great put together movie made by a provocateur, Larry Clark. And so I'm really pro this movie. It's very hard to explain to people that this is a good movie, but the people who get it, and I think the whole Harmony experience, which I talked about with Gummo, is very much just like, we are going to get as close as we can to how not real people in the sense of like biography, but we're going to get as close as we can get to the everyman or every person or the person that's not technologically connected or who's disconnected from reality or so sublimely immature or so disconnected from because of catastrophes or so entranced by kind of this alluring kind of fantasy world. It's like it's such a specific particular flavor of film that people are so pro and against, that it's like, if you love Harmony, then you like Kids, and Kids is a great movie. So we're going to talk about these together. It's Kill Bill Part 1 and 2. Like I said, I've most recently seen Holy Bloody Affair. I was always pro the first one. It's the one that I, like most people, I believe, probably rewatched the most. I believe before I saw the Whole Bloody Affair, I've seen Volume 2 once. But now I really appreciate not only them as a cohesive project, but I really love Part 2 very much. I think this movie is the one that I think of the most when, even like after Pulp Fiction, I think of the most as like some of the coolest shit that Tarantino's ever done. And very much I do believe that Part 2, besides a really weird rambling nonsense about Superman, is a very awesome movie. And together they're collectively a very cool, fucking awesome Uma Thurman chopping people up, revenging on these motherfuckers who fucked over her new life movies of all time. So yeah. Now we're just keep going. We're rocking and rolling. We're rocking and rolling through these movies. I don't even know what I'm pulling out. Killing of a Sacred Deer. Shout out my boy Yorgos. This is my favorite Yorgos movie. Colin Farrell's unbelievable. Barry Keoghan, Nicole Kidman. This is my favorite one. This is the kind of the strange, like, to call this the strangest of the bunch is like calling a bunch of rotten apples the most rotten. Like, they're all rotten. But I think this movie is fucking incredible. And Barry Keoghan gives an unbelievable performance. Colin Farrell gives an unbelievable performance. And I very much am super pro this movie. I ordered this Blu-ray specifically because I want to collect them all. I still need Alps. I still need The Lobster. And it's like, it's very weird that this isn't like an A24 Blu-ray, like the one like The Brutalist. But yeah, super sick. Yorgos, Kinds of Kindness. When I saw this movie in theaters, I knew it would be long, but I didn't really expect people to walk out. And I didn't expect those people who walked out to lose their phone in the chairs of the movie theater. And I didn't expect them to turn their fucking flashlights on to find it. So I've rewatched this movie since, and yeah, if you're a Yorgos fan, and if you're a fan of the writing partner who wrote this, I'm not even going to attempt to say his name, but I know he helped write The Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer. This is just a return to form, and it's very much awesome that in between the time it took to make, or to finish Poor Things, he shot this. It's just really awesome, and I have a poster of this exact kind of design in my room. King of New York, Abel Ferrara. Oh my fucking god, this movie's fucking awesome. There's a great Rewatchables episode with Tarantino about this movie, and I very much think this is probably the Abel Ferrara movie that people know the most or like the most. This is my second favorite. We'll get to my first one. But yeah, super awesome movie. Christopher Walken's unbelievable. The cast is so stacked. One of the great things about 90s New York movies from people like Ferrara and Spike Lee is that they were kind of passing the baton of actors together. So Giancarlo Esposito, Lauren Fishburne, Wesley Snipes, Christopher Walken, Steve Buscemi's in this movie. Just an absolute fucking masterpiece. Awesome. All right, my Kubrick collection. This was gifted to me by Jaron before I left for Montana. 2001, most recently on the rewatchables with Steven Spielberg. A boring masterpiece. This movie's very slow, but it's also unfucking believable. And I watched it like Kubrick would intend on my tablet. I haven't rewatched it since. I tried to go out to a screening whenever it was at one of my local art house theaters, and I couldn't make it, but I would love to watch it again on the biggest screen possible. A Clockwork Orange probably has my favorite, not only Kubrick stare, but also my favorite kind of face of terror when Homeboy starts singing the song, the singing in the rain, singing in the rain after the guy who he did some bad things to his wife, lets him back in his house because he doesn't remember, and then he does, and then there's the greatest face of all time. Very provocative, funky movie that I think people, like a lot of movies, lose the plot a little bit and don't realize the second half of this movie is about as important as the first. And then The Shining. What do I have to say about The Shining? It's fucking awesome. I think if Stephen King can't appreciate a great movie, then what are we supposed to do? Kubrick kind of rips out the best parts and pulls out a great Jack Nicholson performance, and he mistreated Shelley Duvall very much, so I disagree with how he treated her, but I think she's very good in this movie. I think Robert Altman should have protected her. Lady Bird. I've only seen this movie once, but it did make me cry. Greta Gerwig, unbelievable. Don't really have a lot to say. Just like a really great portrayal of teenageism. And just kind of a coming of age story that can really click with men and women. Yeah, great fucking film. Last Temptation of Christ. So this is a classic Criterion release that I've found at Savers, and is a labor of love for Scorsese. I think it's a pretty funny movie that all of these gangster, mobster actors from previous films play these gospel people, these religious figures. Paul Schrader's script. The color grading reminds me of The Last Temptation, or not The Last, The Passion of the Christ, which is something that was supposed to convert me as a child. It did not. And I think what's funny about the kind of controversy surrounding this movie is that my hot take is that if Jesus was portrayed more like this, then he'd be more kind of relatable. Am I crazy for that? Who's to say? Spike Lee joint collection. So what's included in this is Clockers, which is a pretty good movie. I need to give it another watch. I don't think it totally came together for me. Jungle Fever, which is I think the start of provocative Spike. I mean, I haven't seen School Days, but kind of like a movie that's supposed to kind of erupt a feeling out of you. Do the Right Thing is a masterpiece. Mo Better Blues is a masterpiece that, like, initially as I was watching, I was like, I don't know if this works, and then it gets better and better and better, and I cried. And then Crooklyn, which is the poster that I have up here, which I think is a top 3 Spike Lee movie. Crooklyn is unbelievable. There's a lot of moments in here that kind of reflect kind of my childhood as well, and it's very much kind of an emotional movie about growing up. And a lot of things just work very well in it. I got this off eBay because I was going through my Spikes. Life Aquatic. Probably my second favorite Wes Anderson movie. I watched this in a time that was very tumultuous for me, and I've rewatched it since then, and I think it's just great. I think it's like right before the camera stopped being jittery and the sets became more dollhousey. It's like right on the precipice of that. I mean, Darjeeling Limited kind of has that kind of sporadicness as well. But I love this movie to pieces, and I think Bill Murray's incredible in it. I think Willem Dafoe's incredible in it. I think Cate Blanchett's incredible in it. I don't think this is the definitive Owen Wilson, Wes Anderson joint, but he's incredible in it. And I think kind of underrated in the Wes Anderson canon when I believe it's one of his best. The Lighthouse, Crack. This is kind of what broke my brain about film, is this movie. It's two people in a lighthouse arguing and yelling at each other, and crazy shit's going on and weird shit's going on. Kind of Robert Eggers at the peak of his powers. This is my favorite Robert Eggers movie. Robert Pattinson, kind of the people put on notice that he wants to make weird stuff and talk in weird accents. And Willem Dafoe going through this dialogue like it's fucking nothing. Powerful fucking movie. Fucking awesome. Lolita. So I got this movie from the box set. I know this is kind of a provocative text. This is supposed to be comedy. I don't really do like this movie. I've seen it once to kind of go through my Kubricks, and I think Kubrick had kind of a darker kind of sense of humor about this, and I don't know, it's not one of my favorites, but I'm not getting rid of it because I got a lot of Kubrick on the shelf. Mad Max collection. This is the Walmart collection. This is how I got to see Beyond Thunderdome, which I think is my least favorite of the movies. But Mad Max is definitely a franchise that I love to pieces. I think Fury Road's a masterpiece. I think Road Warrior's a masterpiece. I think Furiosa is underappreciated. I think the original film is like great for what its era and what it's doing, and just the car crashes and the people, and just like the way it looks and how people look, and the villains, and kind of Max as a character, this silent kind of person that's protective but elusive, and yeah, just great movies all around. I recently watched Fury Road, the black and chrome version, which I don't believe is the definitive way you should watch that movie, but it's still powerful without the color. Magnolia. I really love this movie a lot. PTA has took a lot of time for me to kind of click with what PTA was cooking, but I think this was really the start of it, because I think kind of the sprawling, never-ending 3-hour monster about wrecking with your interpersonal connection with people, and the interpersonal connection you can have with people you don't know, and kind of like the storylines in this movie, very informative to a lot of filmmakers. We'll get to that. But Tom Cruise is great, Philip Baker Hall, Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace, John C. Reilly. I lost my gun today. Like, come on. The Maltese Falcon. So I really love this movie a lot. The reason I watched this is because I wanted to watch Monster Spade, which stars my love interest, Clive Owen. And just like a great 40s movie. And I think in my review I said I'd probably be pounding the table for this more than Citizen Kane. Very sick, cool movie. The Man Who Wasn't Here. So I bought, this was one of the ones that I was like, I'm going to find this in the wild. I want to find this movie. And I think it's great. I think it's one of the most underrated Coen Brothers movies. Lots of subtext. Black and white film cinematography from Roger Deakins is crack. There's a Criterion re-release for this that I got this before that was a thing. And just like a really strange movie about a quiet man who's wrestling with a lot internally and externally. And there's fucking aliens in this. James Gandolfini's in this. It's a really cool movie. Mandy. This movie is awesome. I think visually, Nick Cage, Andrea Riseborough, you exude a cosmic darkness. Like, I have the steelbook for a reason. This movie just fucking rips, and I'm so excited for the next Cosmos Cosmatos movie. I think this and Beyond the Black Rainbow are just like, how he describes it is Beyond the Black Rainbow is in the inhale, and then Mandy is the exhale. They're two just great kind of twisted horror movies that kind of lure you in with its slowness. Like, it's a slow burn, but that's like it's a feature, not a bug. That it's like you're supposed to kind of get drawn into kind of the meditation of it all. Manhunter. So yeah, Michael Mann. It's funny watching this after you watch Succession, because Logan Roy is Hannibal Lecter, Brian Cox. But I think, contrary to what this says, it and Silence of the Lambs are kind of neck and neck. I think this is a little less so, but I do like that this one is more scary, violent, gory than what Silence of the Lambs does. More on that. The Master is my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. It contains my favorite acting performance of all time. Joaquin Phoenix in this movie is unfucking believable. When One Battle After Another came out, and I had my wig pulled back by it, more on that, I was like really contemplating if One Battle was going to be my favorite PTA movie. But then you watch The Master, and it's like, nope, every scene cooks. Jesse Plemons, Rami Malek, Amy Adams, and especially because I was going to rewatch this and I had it on DVD, put the DVD in, and I was like, this fucking sucks. So then I got the Blu-ray, and you pick up on so much more shit that way. It's like the best representation of why you should upgrade your fucking Blu-rays. And yeah, The Master is a masterpiece. Marty Supreme. So I love the Safdie brothers movies. This is probably my favorite out of their collaborations and solo work. This is my favorite Timmy T performance. The cast is just unbelievably likable. Abel Ferrara's in this fucking movie. People were celebrating Christmas with Abel Ferrara. And yeah, I think people who don't enjoy this movie need to kind of be okay with their protagonists being assholes. And I just love the ambition. I love the kind of drive. It's very relatable to somebody that kind of feels pressure or bogged down by their position in life. So, great fucking movie. Can't recommend it more. I've seen it a bunch of times. I showed a bunch of my friends, and they're like, damn, Marty's so unlikable. I'm like, that's the fucking point. Many Saints in Newark. I've only seen this once. I own it because I'm a Sopranos head. Not as horrible as I remember it to be. I think this thing gets a bad rap because it's kind of like a corporate mandate to make something with a property. If this had more David Chase going on with it, I think it'd be better. But I still think about scenes all the time. I think about that scene where the dude's running away from the cops and he hops into the Vietnam recruitment place. And I think about him, Ray Liotta, yelling at that character about her douchebag or her whatever is hanging, and he pushes her down the stairs. And I think about like there's a lot of like great moments that I think, because The Sopranos is such a great text, that like you can build so much out from it. And yeah, do all the performance work in this movie? No. But is it a cool artifact of like continuations of storylines, even if people don't like the continuation? Yeah. Not everything has to be great. It's not that great, but it's fun. And then Maps to the Stars. I was on a psychotic Cronenberg kick. I think I watched 4 straight Cronenberg movies. I think this one, which is very much underseen and very provocative and weird, is insane. I just like, Julianne Moore's losing her mind. I'm watching the movie. And yeah. It's just kind of a crazy, it's like, I think in my review for it, I said it's sitting at the same lunch table as like Mulholland Drive and all these kind of like Hollywood's a hellhole kind of movies. And this kind of takes it to its most extreme. Highly recommend. Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. So I'm a huge Paul Schrader guy. I'm not like as a completist as I should be about him. If I can get to Bleak Week, we will be seeing First Reformed, which is my favorite Paul Schrader movie. But this movie is like an astonishing picture, like an astonishing production design, story. And it's like, I remember Boots Riley's Criterion Closet video from like a few weeks ago. He was talking about how like, I can't believe I love a movie about a left-wing person who becomes a conservative person that basically like is all the things that him and I are not, which is like a conservative person. But when you like peel back the layers of this dude's life, the way that Paul Schrader does it, it's like one of the most insane 80s movies you'll ever watch in your life. It's very just artsy and brilliant. And I can't believe that Paul Schrader made this. It's like, it's one of those movies, I feel like there's a lot of movies that like you want to watch behind the scenes, you want to know how they made it, but then there's some movies you don't. And this is one I don't need to know how it's done. Mr. Lonely. This is also a pretty rare DVD that I found. If anyone has any problems with Harmony Korine as a person, or like how his sense of humor, his provocativeness, or like they don't feel like he's making real movies, this is the answer. This is what you show people, because this has like a real story, a real kind of take on kind of like being a person versus being another person sort of thing. And I just think Samantha Morton is one of our great underrated actresses of all time. And yeah, very strange movie that I think works very well. Now this is my favorite. This is my favorite Wes Anderson movie, Moonrise Kingdom. I think this movie is incredible. I think what's different from every other Wes movie is how this one in particular, he brings his kind of symmetricalness and his sensibility to nature. And so he has to kind of find areas in the wild to make it all cohesively a Wes Anderson movie. And I think the story's great. I think this is my favorite kind of troupe of actors that he's had. And it's like an Easter movie for me. It's a spring movie. That's how I kind of feel about it. Morven Caller. Speaking of my girl Samantha Morton, shout out Lynn Ramsey. I bulldozed her filmography to get in preparation for Die My Love, and every movie is like, whoa, this is a true artist that should be making more movies. I can't remember. It's a Fun City edition. That's right. This is my favorite of her movies. Kind of, I think it was the first one I watched, and it was such a shotgun blast of things that I look for that I was so astonished by it. And I think the story is really good. Some of the greatest, like, saying it's a breakup movie is kind of the wrong terminology for this movie, but kind of like wrestling without somebody and then kind of trying to fit into what they left into what you want to be is a very interesting concept. And I know Yasi Salik, I believe, on her letterbox, like, this is one of the best movies about being a girl. I have no experience in being that, but I find a lot of things to love about this movie. It's my favorite. Lynn Ramsey. Mother. Shout out my boy Darren, man. This movie pulled my wig back the first time I saw it. I'm very pro this movie. There's a lot of shit in this movie that's very traumatizing. The way I described it the first time I watched it, and I've watched like an hour or so, I just had other shit to do. But the way I described this is like a good Death Grip song that's like kind of convoluted and messy and weird and crazy. But then the more times you listen to it, the more the lyrics bleed through. So I really absolutely love this movie. It's one of my favorite Darrens. Miss 45, this is my most recent, one of them at least, one of my most recent purchases. I'm just trying to get through the Abels, or own all the Abels. This is part of the Arrow box set. I've seen it once, just kind of like a great, like, kill all horrible men movies. Just kind of an astonishing movie, and her name, Zoe Lund, is kind of just like a very interesting person if you read into her. And if you're a guy, I just watched her short film she made for that film festival. If you're interested in her, and if you're interested in Abel, then you're interested in her. And so I think, yeah, very crazy movie that I need to rewatch. Mulholland Drive. This and Fire Walk with Me are in a fist fight for my favorite David Lynch movie. This movie is astonishing. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's bonkers. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's sad. It's depressing. It's everything you'd ever want in a David Lynch movie. Not much more to say. And then finally, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So during Halloween, I felt like it was kind of like my duty to kind of like hit some of the like horror classics. And then I really fell in love with the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. First one is masterpiece. Second one is goofy, but it's fun. It's like, you know, if you want more Freddy Krueger, here's more Freddy Krueger. Third one, I think that's Dream Warriors, smacks. And then I've heard like the rest of them were kind of iffy. And this was the one that I was most anticipating because, you know, with Scream, meta horror can be pretty awesome. I didn't really like it that much. I think it's kind of bluntly degrading. Like the kind of humor of it all didn't really work on me. And I kind of just didn't find it, I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, which is disappointing. But that's the middle shelf. Let's get to the last one. All right. We're going to do this way. We're going to start. All right. My favorite Abel Ferrara movie of all time. If I become some cool filmmaker, I would love to take this story on. I think New Rose Hotel as a story, which I haven't read, but as a story in this movie is unbelievably incredible. This is my favorite Christopher Walken performance, one of my favorite Willem Dafoe performances, and I think this is Abel Ferrara's masterpiece. My hot take, because the ending people don't like, I've kind of learned to accept it as an ending, but I always felt that if you put the ending of the movie at the beginning of it, everybody would love this movie and it'd be Mount Rushmore'd by everybody. I owned an original copy of this movie from eBay, and then of course, it was really re-released by Cinematheque. And yeah, I've rewatched this movie and I can't believe it looks this good. I love this movie to fucking pieces. Yeah. Night of the Juggler. This is also one of the only like most recent purchases I got. I actually got a poster for this movie too because I thought this movie was fucking insanely awesome. Kind of, you know, hasn't aged well, but I think as like an artifact that is worthy of digging in, it's absolutely insane. It's mind-boggling. It's one of the most insane movies I've ever seen in life, with some of the best posters of all time. This is the poster that I have in my living room. I think this is one of the great posters, and it's a great double feature of Brolins losing their children. A 2026 release, Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie. Matt Johnson is super inspirational to me as somebody who wants to make films, the way he talks about films, the way he bluntly talks about films that he doesn't enjoy, the way he talks about, especially because he's Canadian, the Canadian film industry and how he wants to, how he kind of shepherds in filmmakers and is kind of, you know, a voice to the voiceless when it comes to people that want to make independent cinema in Canada, is very inspirational to someone like me who is trying to do something in film. And this is the only one I own, and the reason I own it is because I felt like it was my duty to own it because I love him as a person. I think I like Blackberry more than this, but as a space time travel fucking movie, what the fuck? Super hilarious, super funny, and I've annoyed a lot of people telling them to watch this movie because of how long the title is, but just absolutely go watch this movie. It's available everywhere. No Country Full of Men. I used to always say this is my favorite movie of all time. I think it used to be in my top 4. It's obviously my favorite Coen movie, and I really need to rewatch it, but like, just insane. This movie is insane. There's not a lot to say about an obvious masterpiece like this, but like, it's so cold and dark and kind of, it's like themes it's touching on is insane. Just insane. Insane movie. So I bought this out of a Walmart $5 bin because I am a huge Bob Odenkirk guy. Specifically because of Better Call Saul. When I was watching Breaking Bad, my favorite character was Saul, and then when I learned of Better Call Saul, I think it's better than Breaking Bad, and I think his performance is incredible, and I think what's inspirational about a movie like this is him getting in shape for this is the reason he survived his heart attack during the finale, or during the final season of Breaking Bad, or Better Call Saul, excuse me. Do I love this movie? No. Do I enjoy it? Yes. Is the second one not that good? Yes. But I think to be an Odenkirk fan, you need to support the nobody movies. I haven't seen Normal yet, but like these action films that he's making is why he's still alive. So I think that's awesome. I don't know why I own this movie. I like this movie, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think the script is kind of abrasive. I don't think it's like the most fun thing to hear people talk in this movie. But I think the alien is unbelievable. And I love Daniel Kaluuya. I love Jordan Peele. Just saw Keke Palmer and I love Boosters. And I think that's my favorite performance from her. My brain exploded when there's that shot when they pull back and you can see the alien on the back of Steven Yeun's jacket. I don't gravitate towards this movie or that much. I don't know why I own it, like I said, but I do. I rewatched it because I've always had these feelings, and I still kind of have my feelings about it. Excited for a new Jordan Peele movie though. He hasn't made anything that's bad. I just not like over the moon about this movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Love this movie to pieces. I saw this in a movie theater when it released, and I've seen it a lot. I think about it a lot. The Continuing Adventures of Cliff Booth comes out in November. Fincher and Tarantino making a movie together is kind of like getting Christmas early. I'm a little scared about that movie, but I'm excited. I'm excited for it all. I love this movie to pieces, and I think there's always more to be said. I don't know. They're out of order now. The Venetian Scheme. I love this movie. I think this is kind of where Wes should be going. These kind of more adult dramas that are complicated, and I love that this kind of fear of death is in this movie. I like that it's very economical, not only in like the way it's structured, but it's about economics. And I think it's very, I feel like what's so strange about him is that he won his best Oscar for The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar. And it's like Asteroid City and this movie were just blanked at the Oscars, when I think he's cooking with the best shit he's ever cooked on. And I think this movie's great. I love the color scheme. I love the way it looks. It's definitely an underrated picture. Pi. I love this movie to fucking pieces. I think this movie's super fucking sick. I think what it is talking about, what it's connecting to with like obsession with numbers and finding a pattern in pi, and the idea that the number that's spit out at him is God speaking to him directly, or like however they frame it in the movie, is insane. Just like, imagine this is your first film. I couldn't even imagine it. Just a great film. I should have the A24 re-release for this, but I also love the fact that I have this grungy DVD of it. Poor Things. Favorite movie of 2023. I know this is a very controversial movie, and I don't feel at liberty to speak about people's misgivings about this movie. All I can say is that I very much enjoy Yorgos. I enjoy Yorgos's kind of sense of humor. I enjoy Yorgos' ability to build this world. I think that Emma Stone deserved the Oscar. And I think people who are scared or provoked by this movie are getting the point without really much accepting that they are. I don't know. The Prestige. Just underrated Nolan. I don't think this movie gets talked about enough. Fucking David Bowie's in this fucking movie. The ending is crazy. I remember when I was at my internship, they were like, "Have you ever seen The Prestige?" I said no, and then it was just like a mind-blowing experience. I think this one fell. Prince of the City. Sidney Lumet movie that I watched, and I think is an underrated masterpiece. I think about the second half of this movie most movies. I think the idea of a police officer ratting on his kind of corrupt police crew, and then spending the last half of the movie not only testifying to that, but also apologizing to the rest of his task force, is absolute fucking cinema. And what is it, Treat Williams? Is that how you say his name? Yeah, Treat Williams. Absolutely great, hyper anxious person. One Battle After Another. Favorite movie of last year. Absolutely insane. I've seen it a metric fuck ton of times. I keep trying to tell my sister to watch this movie. I think everybody should watch this movie. I think I'm so grateful that this got what it deserved. Provocative, timely, very resonant with what's going on in the world right now. Some of the best Leo, Benicio, Sean Penn. Just, I don't know. This movie was talked out for at length by a lot of people. And so it's just a great fucking film. Oppenheimer. I love Oppenheimer. I think it was an incredible experience the first time I ever watched it, because I watched it in 35mm. It was the first time I've ever seen a movie on film, and I'm actually seeing the Odyssey on 70mm. But I just absolutely incredible. The score is incredible, and I just an insane kind of slice of American history during that time that I was obsessed about. And I think Killian's great. I think Robert Downey's great. I think the edit's great. And yeah, we'll look back as like a great fucking picture. Out of the Blue. So this is the other Dennis Hopper movie I own. This is also the other Dennis Hopper masterpiece. I think as a coming of age story, it's insane. I don't remember a lot of the particulars, but I know this is a very daunting coming of age story that has a lot of sad and distressing shit in it. And I think kind of, if you read it about how this movie was made, it kind of was morphed into this from another idea. And I really appreciate it. I really like it a lot. David Fincher's Panic Room. You can probably see up there that I also have the VHS for this movie. This is the really cool triple feature that includes all of his making ofs and how he made this movie. I think this is very underrated, more underrated than The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Diabetic representation in film. David Fincher created continuous glucose monitoring. Just absolutely awesome. And it's just a good, cool cast. It's fucking Jodie Foster, Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto, young Kristen Stewart. Like, come on. I don't even know where I'm at. Oh my goodness. Paprika. So, I love this movie. And I think a lot of people love this movie because they like to hate on Inception. But I feel like both of them can exist in their own different ways. Satoshi Kon, I've seen this one in Perfect Blue. I like this one more than Perfect Blue. Just a really absolutely insane, overstimulating anime masterpiece. The Parallax View. I love The Parallax View. I think this movie's fucking awesome. I've seen Clute and I've seen The Parallax View. I have not seen All the President's Men. That is a shame on me and me alone. But I do think this movie is super awesome. I think in one of my reviews that I was like, men used to go into rooms and say that political assassination was rewarding work. That's just like a feeling that we don't feel anymore. And especially with what's going on in the world, it's very much like a snapshot of what could be going on in the world. Parasite. Not a lot to say about Parasite. Other than that, this is the first Criterion I ever owned. Absolute masterpiece. I used to have a Parasite poster before my cat tore it down. Bong Joon-ho, incredible. I think I like this more than Memories of Murder, but those are just like 1A, 1B for me. So glad that this got the shine that it deserved, and it's absolutely awesome. Paris, Texas. Also, just absolutely insanely awesome movie. Sad, prescient, score is incredible, colors are incredible. I watched this like 2 days after a breakup, so it fucked me up. But just like, there's a reason why all these film Twitter accounts post these fucking stills from this movie. It's just gorgeously made. Mia Goth, Pearl. This is the best of the X trilogy. This is probably my favorite Mia Goth performance. Lightning in a bottle for how this is made. The X trilogy really falls off of Maxine, but at least we have this in X. Super quotable, super awesome, and it's just the best syringe of Mia Goth you can get. Performance, the Nicholas Roeg and Donald Campbell movie. I kind of see it more as a Nicholas Roeg movie. A blind buy that I'm so glad I did, because it's one of the coolest mobster movies you can ever watch. Mick Jagger is insane in this movie. The concept of performance, not only as a performer musically, but also as a henchman of sorts, is just a great kind of critique. And I just think this movie kind of falls very nicely if you're an Abelhead. This is kind of like ground zero for Abel Ferrara movies, in my opinion. Even though he has nothing to do with this movie, it's like this came out before Driller Killer, Fear City, all those. And yeah, just absolutely awesome movie. Absolutely awesome. I'm not gonna have any fun putting this all back together. Phantom Thread. I watched this movie so much last year. It is such an easy movie to watch. I don't know if it's the Johnny Greenwood score, if it's the most beautiful woman of all time, frickin' Vicky Krieps. I don't know if it's Daniel Day-Lewis just cooking. I don't know what it is, but this movie is so watchable and so gorgeous and so funny and so interesting, and just everything about it. Super hot, super sexy. It's like their fucking sex scene is him making a dress for her. Like, you either get it or you don't. Pulp Fiction was my favorite movie of all time for a very long time. It's been a few years since I rewatched it because I know it so well and I think about it all the time, and it's just like, the reason I cuss all the time is because of this movie. Because the reason I love film is because of this movie. The reason I appreciate writing for what it is because of this movie. And I just think it's great. It's very hard not to love this movie. Red Rooms. So this is the other movie I bought with The Absent Milk of the Mouth of the Lost. I saw this at a screening at 10 a.m. in the fucking morning. And it blew my mind. It was my favorite movie of 2024 for the longest time. And I'm just astonished by this movie. It's the most Fincher-coded movie of all time. It's the scariest movie of all time. It's how David Sims described it, the most too much internet movie of all time. Explaining the plot to people is like stepping into a bear trap. It's so hard to make people want to watch this, but when they do, it's one of the best movies of the 2020s, you know? Requiem for a Dream. Oh. This was such a funny first time watch for me because I watched it by myself in Montana. I knew this movie would fuck me up. I was always kind of intimidated by it, and I mean, it is a very intimidating, stressful, kind of one of the hardest movies to watch, but the last 25 minutes, the rest of the interns came back to the intern house and watched the last 25 minutes of this movie with me, which is like the most I'm never going to take ibuprofen ever again experience. Probably my favorite Darren, because it's the most like the peak of his powers, the most he's ever like grabbed everything that he's ever cared about and put it into one syringe and shot the audience with it. Just super fucking scary, dude. Like, really just like, I never want to do drugs of all time. So that clinking sound was the sound of my Reservoir Dogs gasoline can DVD. I bought this from a Savers when I was like, oh my god, there's more to Tarantino than just Pulp Fiction. The inside is a lighter match that has the DVD with it. This is my second favorite one. Super quotable, super awesome. I think it's another one of those movies that's like, you get inspired by a Tarantino movie and you want to make something like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Django, when you should watch a movie like Reservoir Dogs that was made for nothing and kind of is like step one, write a great script and then find an area to shoot and then bring all those actors there, and that's all you gotta do. Next movie, The Right Stuff. This is a movie I've always heard was really good. I own this and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and this movie is very good. Especially with a DVD like this, like I think something that's missing from like the streaming area or the lack of people using DVDs nowadays is that you gotta flip the disc on this because it's a 3-hour monster, and it's one of the great like American capitalism, like American like driving to the edge of figuring out how to get to the moon, and I don't know, it's just a great movie, and I don't remember a lot of it, but I just remember experiencing this movie and feeling like more movies were hypercritical of the American experience, and we used to have movies like this, you know? So this movie I bought before Thomas Vanderbeek's passing, and sadly he was cut out of this cover before I bought it. Rules of Attraction just felt like one of those provocative 2000s pictures that I needed to watch. Pretty cool. And then it's like one of the strangest, like, they're really going here type of movies. And it's just like, it's that mid-2000s angst. It's that mid-2000s kind of provocation. And yeah, just it's Roger Avery, who helped make Tarantino films, and it's trying really hard to be a Tarantino movie, but just one of those crazy movies. Doing alright back there? Run, Lola Run, German film. Just one of those great 90s movies that you should watch. I watched this like 10 days after the re-release, and very much got an incredible jolt of energy from it. Just a very much a cool kind of weird, like, go back in time and save yourself movies. It's just like the most thrilling post-MTV roller coaster ride. There you go. A Scanner Darkly. Underrated Linklater. This movie's fucking awesome. I love A Scanner Darkly. I think this movie's unbelievable. The cast is so fucking stacked, it's unbelievable. The art style is unbelievable. Fucking weirdly enough, what are you doing? Weirdly enough, Alex Jones is in this movie, and it's a great one of my favorite kind of science fiction movies. You know, just absolutely bonkers. Secrets and Lies. Profoundly crazy movie. I always say to myself, secrets and lies. Mike Leigh is a monster at writing normal people having crazy conversations, arguments, relationships. It's like, if you want to love good writing, you gotta love Mike Leigh, and I know he's inspirational to a ton of people, but just crazy in the sense that, like, there's so much love and like feeling and kind of sentimentality and stress and kind of explanation. The stress of explanation is kind of covered in this movie. So A Serious Man. One of my favorite Coen Brothers movies, top 2. Super fucking hilarious. God, what is the name of his character? God, it doesn't tell me back here. But there's just so many great jokes in this movie. Super funny. Kind of the most the Coens have ever, like, I feel retrospectively went back in time. And yeah. 7. In the bottom half of my favorite Finchers, not because it's a bad movie, but sometimes I felt like the script didn't meet the kind of gnarliness of what Fincher was portraying. and I rewatched it, and it's just not. It's like 7th. I just have my own personal picks for Fincher, but yeah, great fucking flick, great time. Movie I rewatched yesterday, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. It's kind of the movie about everything. I think just like Soderbergh really taps into kind of like what I'm doing right now is, where I'm speaking about my own experiences and my own hobbies and my own interests. It's just like James Spader, just an unbelievable. Andy McDowell has so much Margaret Qualley in the face. It's unbelievable. And I feel like the performance by her sister, Laura San Giacomo, is some of the best acting you'll ever watch in your life. Like the most like snarky, I'm sexy and I know it kind of acting you'll ever see in your life.
We're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. A movie I haven't seen, Shaun of the Dead. I bought this because I wanted to in prep for Running Man, but then I watched Hot Fuzz, didn't really connect with it, and didn't really follow through on catching up on, what is his name? Why am I blanking? All I do is blank, bro. All I do is freaking blank. Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright's movies. Shivers. This is part of my Cronin explosion. Bought this off Reddit off somebody. And out of like the 70, there's Shivers, and there's another one that he made in like 1976 about the girl with the piercer in her armpit. I think I like this one more. This one is fucking insane. I can't believe Cronenberg was making these movies in the 70s. It's really awesome. Sideways. This is the most found movie you can find in your local Savers. I find this shit everywhere, and for good reason, because it's a great movie. And Paul Giamatti's great. Alexander Payne. I think I'm an election head, but this is a close second. And it's also funny because I think Thomas Hayden Church so much as Sandman, because I am a weirdo who likes Spider-Man 3 more than the other ones. And every time I see him, I just think of Sandman. So, Silence of the Lambs. So this is the classic Criterion DVD one. I really like this movie. I think the way that Jonathan Demme shoots conversations is unbelievable. I mean, it's no reason why this movie was like an absolute phenomenon. I still think it's great. I don't think it's perfect. It's like I feel like there's a glossy edge to this rather than like making it a movie about a serial killer or somebody interviewing serial killers. And I think kind of the cultural relevance with like being a Bill Simmons fan, you kind of understand that this movie is just monumental in so many aspects. Not a lot to say about The Social Network other than that it's unfucking believable. It's like this and Zodiac are in a boxing fight for my number one. And Zodiac usually wins, but like there's no stopping that this movie's unbelievable. And so quotable, and you just rewatch scenes from this movie all the time. It's so hard not to. Starship Troopers. Got on a Verhoeven kick last year, and I was also playing Helldivers a lot, and between watching RoboCop and I'll buy that for $1, and then this with Would You Like to Know More? I just love what Verhoeven does with satire. I think it's so funny, especially this being like a absolutely fucking crazy political satire. I'm blanking on the correct terminology, but a fascist satire. There we go. It's just hilarious. It's just crazy. Stop Making Sense.
So I don't have the A24 one because I was destined to find this in a theater, and or find this at a Savers or something. And lo and behold, I found it at half price books. I love the Talking Heads. I think this thing is incredible. Girlfriend is Better is my favorite Talking Head song, and I sing and I dance to it. Strange Days. So I bought this at Savers because I was like, this movie isn't available any fucking where. And I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I think Ralph Fiennes is kind of a strange protagonist for this movie. I think this is very much a forward-thinking movie. And I was like, damn, I have this movie that nobody can fucking find. And then like a week and a half later it was on Hulu. But Catherine Bigelow, man, she just makes these crazy fucking flicks that just blow your fucking mind. Streets of Fire. This was a movie that I always wanted to watch, and I bought this 4K at Vintage Stock because I was so interested and fascinated by it. I don't totally love this movie, but I do appreciate its kind of punk sensibilities. And I think early Willem is always great to see. And this is the only Walter Hill movie I've seen. I haven't seen anything like The Warriors or anything. Like, I need to do my research, but not a movie I particularly love, but it has things to like about it. Yeah. Speaking of what I was talking about with my Frank Sinatra, my Frank Sinatra obsession. This is a movie that I watched when I was really young on YouTube. It's 76 minutes, and then I found it at Vintage Stock, and I said I had to have it. What I remember is that it's fucking just a weird, like, I'm taking over your house so I can assassinate the president movie. It's a black and white movie. I can't tell you if it's good or bad. That's all I literally remember about it. I haven't rewatched it since, but I own it. Synecdoche, New York. This is my favorite Charlie Kaufman movie. This is one of those movies I was talking about where I don't need to know anything about how it was made. I don't want to know how it was made. I don't want to know how those sets were made. I don't want to know how it was written. I know this was written as like a horror movie, and I totally get and understand what they were going for. But yeah, man, Philip Seymour Hoffman talking about death is some of the hardest shit you'll ever watch, as in like painfully hard. Talented Mr. Ripley. I'm kind of a connoisseur for the Ripleys. I haven't seen the 60s one, but between this, the book, and the Netflix adaptation, this one is unbelievable. And I think it having the Cate Blanchett character, which is not in the book, adds so much more kind of thrill to it. And Jude Law's on crack. And Matt Damon is unbelievable, and Gwyneth Paltrow is so incredible, and just like I remember when the Watch was talking about the Netflix adaptation, and they were like, "Is this the new Hamlet?" Like doing Ripley, and I'm just like, every 15-20 years we should get a new one, in my opinion. Taxi Driver. I remember showing this to my friends, and they all hated it, and then I don't know when or how I bought this, but I think this movie is awesome. And I mean, there's not a lot to say. It's kind of foretold so much. I haven't rewatched it in a really long time, but I mean, I don't have anything to say about the fucking Taxi Driver that hasn't already been said. Tenet. I'm actually going to see Tenet in 70mm in a few weeks. Bonkers Nolan. It's like, sometimes we don't need Nolan to have all the answers. Everybody wants Nolan to have all the answers. I don't need him to have all the right answers. Absolutely bonkers movie. I ordered my hot sauce half an hour ago. Just great. I'm kind of losing steam on explaining a lot of these movies. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What is there to say? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the best horror movies of all time. I think it's so funny that the reason these people get chopped up is because they pull up on Leatherface's house and walk through like they own the place. Chainsaw Dance, Golden Hour. just incredible. There'll Be Blood. I don't think there's a movie over here that I've had more of a 360 on, because the first time I watched it with all the "this is better than No Country" expectations, and it was like it's a movie that took a lot of times to kind of crack, and I've seen it in a movie theater since, and I still have my issues with this movie. I have issues with the brother storyline, that this random person just shows up in Daniel Plainview's life and he's like, okay, I guess you're my brother. And I have a lot of issues with kind of how the HW storyline goes. But it's fucking There Will Be Blood, dude. It's like they literally set a fucking oil rig on fire in the desert. This is Spinal Tap. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner. Part of the lineage of like mockumentary satires that I like In the Loop. This movie blew my fucking mind the first time I watched it. It's so fucking funny. The foldable bread. It's just, or the black album cover, the plants not opening, and then there's songs on here that I still listen to, like Flower People. Like Flower People's a great song on its own, outside of the context of being a comedy movie. It's just great. Titan. Fuck yes, bro. This movie is so fucking sick. I'm all in on everything Julia Ducournau makes, including Alpha, which I liked a lot more than other people. But this is like, man, explaining the plot to the people in this movie, or like convincing them to watch this movie, it blows people's fucking minds. It's like one of the great stories that's ever been written. I don't understand how she thought of this. I don't know how she connected the dots. I don't know how she thought to cast the lead actress, who's like a feminist magazine writer. I don't know how she did any of this, but it's unbelievable. And I remember when I would go to Vintage Stock that they had this Blu-ray, and I wanted it, and then it was gone, and I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna order it because I need to own this movie. To Live and Die in LA, William Friedkin. I'm still getting through my Friedkins. I've never seen The Exorcist, I know, Exorcist me at this point, but I really love his crime movies. I feel like I just watched something of his very recently. I watched Bug. That's what I watched. Which is also a very great movie. But just kind of an awesome fucking movie with an unbelievable original song, and just early Willem Dafoe, and I mean this and William Peterson. This and Manhunter, it's like the best double feature you can get of like cool guys in button-up shirts that they sometimes pop the top button on and doing cool shit. Alright, let's get through these, folks.
If you're this far ahead, make sure to leave a like and subscribe.
Sexy Beast. Another Jonathan Glazer movie. Fucking hilarious. Ben Kingsley is kind of on crack in this movie. You'll never see somebody be so fucking vocally angry and hilarious. Great crime movie. Has some cool, surreal, just Jonathan Glazer as a brain. It's awesome. Tombstone. My mom was pounding the fucking table for me to watch this movie. It's so funny that I have this George Cosmatos movie and Mandy on the same shelf, but it's cool. I'm just not like there's not a lot of westerns that I'm like, hell yeah, brother. I mean, Unforgiven is great, but that's like as far as my westerns go. Traffic. I bought this movie because Benicio won Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor. This won fucking Best Director. It won a lot of shit, and it's like, is marijuana the devil? Like, I don't know. It's the most TV a movie's ever done, and it's like, if you like Breaking Bad, then you'll get what like the visual language instantly. Tree of Life. Shout out Malik, bro. This movie is so awesome. I think this is some of the weirdest, coolest stuff you can see in a film. I should have the Criterion, but I don't. Very impactful movie. I just think it's like one of the great, like, you have to see to believe movies of all time. Tron Legacy. Hell yeah, brother. Huge. This movie is very inspirational to me. This is a childhood favorite. This, like, the music I like, the visual language, like the CGI is kind of sloppy, but like Tron is just cool. Like Tron bikes, fucking being in the video game, all types of shit. True Romance, Arrow box set. I really like this movie. I think the score sucks, but everything else is fucking hilarious. I treated you like a son. You stabbed me in the heart. Fuck you. Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. I have a Fire Walk With Me tattoo. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the painting that Laura gets. Twin Peaks as a concept. I also have the Z to A over here. Just a credible story. I think about Laura Palmer all the fucking time. She's always with me. I always think about her. I'm always mourning her. It's like I've never been. It's like her and like the fear of Kim Wexler are like the female characters I've cared about the most in my life. And this movie is devastating. I've seen it in two separate movie theaters. I think seeing it in a movie theater, that scream haunts you forever. And yeah, I remember when I had the balls to watch this movie so much, and now I'm like I have trepidation about watching it again, but I really need to boot this thing up again. Oregon! Alright.
We're so close, people.
Videodrome. I should get the Criterion, obviously, but I found this at like an antique mall, and I was like, having it is having it, and I think it's cool to have this kind of version of it. This is my favorite Cronenberg. I think it's very easily a lot of people's favorite Cronenbergs. Kind of the best kind of social provocation he's ever done. Just like practical effects, weird shit, climbing through the TV. Hell yeah. The Vanishing. This is the Criterion, old Criterion version. Fucking horrifying. Great script. Just like horrifying. Ending horrifying. Just like such a gorgeous movie to watch, and then it just becomes this kind of hamster wheel of a nightmare of trying to find his girlfriend. V for Vendetta. Spoke a little bit about this with the history of violence, but just great 2000s DC adaptions. Childhood classic. Seen it a bunch as a kid. Own it because I've seen it so much. Under the Skin, my favorite Jonathan Glazer movie, my favorite type of science fiction, the type of science fiction where it's rooted in the real world and then with these kind of hints of kind of like science fiction. Probably my favorite is ScarJo. Just absolutely terrifying, mesmerizing. The first time we met the awesome Adam Pearson. And yeah, Going Blind. You will not regret it. Alright, my last little stack. We Own the Night. I got into James Gray last year, not even in preparation of Paper Tiger, but now I'm kind of rounding out his filmography because of it. This movie is one of the best movies one of the best finds I had of 2025. Just like absolutely insane. Joaquin's on fire. Mark Wahlberg's on fire. Like kind of halfway through the movie, something really crazy happens. And then you're like, how are they going to finish this out? And, James Gray is very redundant in like his, two brothers. And I mean, they were brothers in the yards, but absolutely just incredible script, incredible time. Weapons. So, yeah. Absolutely insane. Magnolia obviously influenced this movie. My sister just watched this movie, called it Freaky. No kidding. I'm absolutely in love with this movie. I watched it twice in one day because I got this Blu-ray, rewatched it. Then one of my friends came over and was like, I want to watch Weapons. And then we watched it again. There's that whole monologue that Toby Huss has where he's like, those kids nobody forced those kids out of those homes. They walked out. They weren't forced out. Great flick. Where the Wild Things Are. This was kind of just to round out some Spike Jonze. Great for kids. Kind of fizzles out at the end of me. I can only last so long with this movie, but James Gandolfini, man. Widows, Steve McQueen. This was a blind buy, and yeah, Chicago, crime happens, and women, they do it too. And absolutely sick movie. Just cool. Like, everybody in this movie is on fire. Just absolutely awesome. Wild at Heart, Shout film, Shout Select, underrated in the Lynch canon. I really do love this movie. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about this movie, other than Willem Dafoe's teeth. Kind of disgusting. Wolf of Wall Street. Sort of like Fight Club, the type of movie that when it gets into the wrong people's hands, they interpret it the wrong way. As a total ecstasy trip about why ecstasy is bad, or like kind of maximalist lifestyles can kind of tear you to shreds. Absolutely awesome movie. Absolutely incredible. Zeros and Ones, another Able for Our movie. An Able for Our movie made during COVID where Ethan Hawke introduces the movie and then has kind of like his own kind of epilogue at the end of the movie. Kind of just an insane movie that was made during COVID, and it's Ethan Hawke walking around the streets of fucking, where is this set? Like Venice or in Rome. He has to, and it's like stopping a terrorist threat, and it's like great actors like Abel or Ethan Hawke are still trying to work with people like Abel, and I want Abel to keep making movies, and you support that by buying them on Blu-ray. And the last movie in this goddamn collection of plastic is Zodiac. Banger, best Fincher movie, and yeah. I also have, like I said, I have this box set of Scorsese movies. It's Boxcar Bertha, which isn't good, New York, New York, which isn't good, Last Waltz, which is really awesome, and then Raging Bull, which is a classic, obviously. And then I have the Three Colors collection, which I haven't even, I started like 15 minutes of Blue and haven't gotten around to finishing out, but one day I will. It's a little project whenever I need one. So, that is my film collection. What's in your film collection? I don't really know how to do these YouTube outros, but leave a comment, leave a like, let me know what you think of my opinions of all these movies. Let me know when I'm wrong. Follow me on Letterboxd. Get excited for more short films and shit coming out. And yeah, that's my film collection. See y'all in the 50 dip.